Detroit is different. Stang down Tonga. Detroit is different.
Welcome back to the Detroit is Different podcast studios. And I have a guest that I'm definitely excited about. Heard the brother speak at a forum that you definitely necessarily wouldn't expect, like more so the testimony he gave. Because it was talking about money mattering and how to get connected to it. And his whole story was like, all right, we had to start here, we had to start there, we had to put in work, and then I got a couple dollars and we kept putting it together, working. And I'm like, man, when do we get to the money? But he basically kind of said, like, look, you put in the work, people observe. And from that observation, you gather more support. And he's definitely been boots on the ground in many iterations on the East Side. And y'all know Detroit is Different got a lot of love for the East Side. And with this introduction, you probably should already know him. If you don't, you're about to get to meet him. And furthermore, I would encourage you to support what the brother is doing. Pastor Bell, how are you today?
I'm doing amazing. How you doing, Brother Kari?
All is well, man.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you allowing me to be on the show and speak to your listeners, man.
Say less. It should have been happened.
Yes, sir.
It should have been happened, like, even when we connected, and then others was like, yo, man, you need to interview. I was like, yes. I saw him at something. We need to get him in studio.
Yes, sir. It's a blessing, man. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, man, because you were giving, as I say, when I met you, your testimony was like, all right, so we ran into this, and then we had to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Ran into this, had to do this. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
This is commitment.
Yes, sir. I love to be transparent with people so that they can see the hard work that it takes to get to where you're going.
Yes.
And also to let them know, sometimes people think that because it don't happen overnight that they're not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
So I let them know, hey, it happens to the best of us, happens to all of us. So keep going. Don't stop.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times, people don't quote it as much, but from the Galwell book, people be like, the 10,000 hours you put in leads to success.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a theoretical. I think at times when you're putting in time for what you're doing, sometimes it's hard to even keep time. And then furthermore, when you're like really in it, almost everything and anything can be inspirational. Like you'll be walking down the street, see something, be, traveling, or just like, oh, I can do this with this.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. And, I read The Tipping Point too. It comes a certain point of time where you just put enough time in and then the scales begin to fold and to move in your direction. And it just takes a lot of dedication and hard work and perseverance. And in my case, a lot of faith.
that as well. And then also, this is the weird paradoxical thing about time.
Mm-hmm.
When you probably got the most time, you think you got the least time. Meaning when you're younger,
yes,
somebody be like, man, you just do that for 5 years. And you're 20, you like 5 years.
Right.
That's forever.
Right. Man, I tell you. 5 years. I've been doing it for 15, man, and we're still fighting.
Yeah.
You're gonna keep fighting until the Lord call you home.
I mean, the old adage that they say, when you start building that wall brick by brick, it's gonna look not as sturdy near the bottom, but you get closer to the top, it's gonna get a lot more smooth. The mortar's gonna fall in line. You're gonna see some designs.
Go ahead and preach, Brother Carr. Yeah, preach to me, Doc. I needed that. Yes, sir.
So we start these always with your Detroit journey, your peoples. How many generations deep are you and your family to Detroit?
Man, I would say my mom and my grandmother. So I would say 3 generations.
Okay. All right. So now I got to go. Grandma, whereabouts? Where's she from?
Well, they started out in Arkansas.
Arkansas?
Yes, sir. Came on up here to Detroit.
Okay.
And we've been here ever since.
All right. Now, Arkansas, as we know, a little bit further west. That's usually where I see the folks go to the good Chicago and all that Delta-isms and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you got fam in Chicago.
Yeah, I got fam in Chicago, and I got them in Indianapolis. So the Midwest,
in that space.
On both my mom's side and my father's side.
Okay.
Yes,
all
sir.
right. And moving here from Arkansas, what neighborhood did they come to? Where'd your grandma and them set their feet?
So my mom told me that they were over in Black Bottom.
Okay.
And they started over there, and then they moved over to the east side on St. Clair
Okay.
Street, and then from there we ended up on Belvedere. That's where I was born, on Belvedere and Gratiot.
Okay. All right. So people definitely know. Yeah, that's really, because I mean, I still think Black Bottom, that's technically East Side itself
East
as
Side.
well.
Yes, sir.
You
we
know,
been East Side.
like an East Side, I'll definitely clarify you on that.
What do they call the area over there by Claremont?
I mean, sometimes people say it's the North
North
End, but
End?
technically, when you on that side of Woodwood, we East Side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's what she told me. Claremont. She said something about Claremont. And over that way as well.
Yeah, definitely. And as I always say, like my neighborhood, I think this is a West Side community with many East Side sensibilities.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Starting with I have a driveway. It's one of those things. Like, Sydney, we got driveways on the east side.
No, we ain't had no driveway, dog. We barely had some grass.
See, that ain't me.
Yes,
that ain't me, Sydney. That ain't me.
Yes, sir.
I already said, shout out to Sydney and Blackout Wall. So Belvedere, that community, community. What was it like? What do you remember coming up as a kid?
Man, coming up, everything was pretty good. I was born in 1975.
Okay.
So of course we were living in poverty, but we didn't know. We had love. My mother was she was a teen mom. But she instilled in us a whole lot of values.
Okay.
And one thing she did was make sure I went to church. So she forced me to go to church, But in our neighborhood, the school was right down the street.
Okay.
So we walked to school. We had all those old school memories of when the children down the street would come knock on the doors as they walk toward the school. And then we'll come out the doors and we'll all walk together. I'm talking about first grade, kindergarten. Didn't need no chaperones or anything like that. Wasn't nothing crazy going on until we reached the 80s.
Things changed in the 80s.
Yeah,
now, before we even get to the 80s and that wave, I do want to talk about, you said always in church. What church do you start at? What do you remember as a kid being in a place of worship? Okay,
well, I was forced to go, so I didn't know a whole lot. I just knew we were there. The pastor actually used to be my mom's insurance agent.
Okay.
He would go door to door knocking to get people to buy insurance. And his name was Pastor Austin Byrd Jr.
Okay.
And he was a counselor at Kettering High School.
Ain't that something?
Yeah. And so the name of the church was Martin Evans Missionary Baptist Church, which was a mistake that was made by the city. It's supposed to have been Martin Evers.
Okay.
Because he named his church after Martin Luther King and Medgar Evers.
Wow.
It started in 1969 after the assassination of Dr. King. And so he was that was his whole thing about the social justice and civil rights. So I started there at 9 years old.
All right, time out, man. I got to ask a little bit more about this pastor already. It's like, this is sounding already like a revolutionary brother in many ways. And also, this is for any younger people watching, because sometimes I believe that people can compartmentalize people into one or two different things.
Right.
And at that time, I mean, you're saying like he's a high school counselor.
Yep.
So he probably took some classes in psychology and social work. So he has some of those skill sets. He's also an insurance salesman. So that means he definitely has entrepreneurial talents as well.
Yep.
And a pastor as well. And not just a pastor, to name a church after Martin Luther King and Medgar Evers. And you're talking about like 1969. So like, this would be like very soon after the murders of these gentlemen. It would be in vogue of today of someone starting like a ministry connected to like a Carmelo and I don't know. I guess we could say. I mean, so many people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
George Floyd or something like
George,
now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it'd be like. Already? Yes, already, though we knew the legacies of them.
Right.
And even as we know at that time, I mean, you still had so many folks from like, the South coming up here.
Yes, sir.
So some of these people also, this is the other thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be somebody in church like, hey, I was,
I
played on the same softball team as Medgar Evers and Martin Luther King.
Exactly. I was marching in Selma with him.
Exactly. I was marching in Selma. You know what I'm saying? He owed me $2 from
That's right. I was part of the first building fund.
Exactly. So like, you gotta really be grounded in your information, because somebody in that audience for sure may really
they know
be connected.
They know the real deal. And so, so I started there, man, and we moved a couple of different buildings since we had started, and ended up right over on Gratiot and Outer Drive, and that's where we stayed the longest before I became the pastor. So I'm at one point in time in the history of our church, I was the youngest member and the oldest member at the same time.
Hilarious. That's a story within its own.
Yeah.
So you're still at that. So I got to hear more about this man that even founds this church. What? Okay. So I just got to start there. 'Cause clearly, if you're there, you know this story.
Yes,
what
sir.
led to him to say, like, okay, I'm going to start this church and build from this, from this legacy of social justice?
Yeah, so from what I'm gathering, because of course I was like 9 years old.
Yeah, I know.
But from when I look back at Pastor Byrd and I see how he moved and operated, he was a very compassionate person, and so he cared about people. He cared about our community, cared about our people, and so from what I gather, him being a teacher or in education, that was something that really stuck with him as far as our history and also experiencing the things that he had to experience. And so he wanted to make sure he gathered as many people together to teach us our history and to show us that we can make it with God. You know, no matter what comes up against us, keep our faith and God will see us through. And so, yeah.
Okay. And so that's heavy. And I know some people from KE, so I'll definitely be reaching out to the Dawood Muhammads and the Mama Shoes and people I know.
They know Pastor Byrd, Doc. Everybody know Brother Byrd.
I want to ask him about counselor.
Ask him about the chop. He said he used to go to you and chop your arm like this.
I'm gonna ask because some brothers over there. I mean, most definitely. Even the brother that owns they say he KE too.
Oh yeah, Terry Payne.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He was on Belvedere.
Okay, I'm gonna ask next time I run across some of these Kettering folks about it because this already sounds like a dynamic story.
Sir.
Because unlike, and this is no shade to the to like the Finney or the Denby, but in the waves of black folks being in schools, some of these schools did not get their black population till years on.
Oh, yeah.
Kettering ain't one of them.
Yes, sir.
And I often uplift that it's two, I think, alumni annual picnics that I think, and I'm a Northwestern guy, so I always get praise for both these, and I think that they're phenomenal.
Northwestern is
Kettering, I'd say, definitely. That may be like the largest event I've seen. I don't know what's happened since the new development or whatever. But when that used to happen, I mean, you'd be like almost like for like 394 exits, you'd be like, what's going on over here? And it's like, KE is taking over the neighborhood.
KE is just like I would say a poster child for the East Side sometimes, especially our little area over there in the Van Dyke, Harper, Gratiot, all of that whole area. The Kettering's like, how the East Side represent. We proud. It seems like the worse we have it, the more proud we are because we had to stick together and we had to fight through so much to make it. So we just had that pride,
Hey, I'm just saying that, that if you get an opportunity to go to any of Kettering alumni-based events, attend.
Oh, yeah.
And McKenzie's the other one that's kind of like that, too. So,
okay.
Either one of those, definitely check that out.
Now I'm gonna have to go check out some of the other schools. I'm gonna have to perpetrate it. As I went to Cass Tech. You know what I mean? So I got to come in with a cloak on or something.
Hilarious. We definitely gonna get to that in the journey. But definitely I'm gonna be finding out more about Pastor Byrd. That just sounds so
Byrd was an amazing guy, man. Amazing, man.
Yep.
Amazing.
So so as you say, 80s comes, shifts a lot of things. And it's waves that definitely hit it. We definitely explored so much, I think, of what crack cocaine was and how the impact it had on community, but that also run concurrent with Reaganomics politics.
Yes, sir.
And along with Reaganomics politics, which is like trickle-down economics, the thought process is like as richer people get richer, they will spread wealth with those who are not as rich as them. Which never has come to fruition.
It never. We never felt it.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, sir.
So that happens, and I'm born in 82, so a little bit after you, but definitely in being born in 75. As much as like the exodus and depopulation and residents began leaving Detroit, I'd say They say like even sometime like late 50s, early 60s,
Right.
so much of the industry begins to leave in the 80s as well.
Oh yeah, in the 70s, all the factories start to close, no opportunities,
Yes.
and what they call white flight. And we know about Angels Night, how they started to do those insurance jobs so that they can get paid to go ahead and move out to the suburbs, and then blame it on all the our people that's living in the neighborhoods and saying that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
But that's how that started.
Definitely. I love that you spoke to that. It's a project near and dear. I'm gonna bring it to fruition. I've been talking about it for a while, but just kind of covering really the Detroit Phoenix, which is like one of the first waves of black firefighters under a Coleman administration, as they dealt heads on with it. And some of them have definitely moved in very prominent places. So I'm working on that as rest in peace to
awesome.
Sergeant and actually, Commander.
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
Marquise Wooden, one of my best friend's fathers, was a firefighter. So some of the stories
Praise God,
would tell
man.
kind of impact why I want to do that.
Wow.
So
did I say Angels Night? I mean Devil. They called it Devil's Night.
Yeah,
we
I
turned it
know.
around to Angels Night. I'm
Exactly.
sorry about that.
Oh no, we there. So certainly that neighborhood is, that's the footprint. I think like when people yell out tough intersections and streets, that is the footprint with the Mac and Bewick.
Oh yeah, Mac and
all
Bewick.
of that,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We had our own Secretary of State over there, Doc. You go over there, get your tags, you cash a check. Whatever you need, you go on Mac and Bewick, Doc. They had it for you right there.
It's a lot to offer.
Yes,
so,
sir.
In navigating that, you're very young, and in it, as I've often uplifted in these Detroiters Difference, I think the way that crack impacted the community, sometimes we have like a retro look at it towards like 90s and usually like more from hip hop culture.
Right.
Saying like, why would you do this? Whereas I always say like, it's really the 70s leading into the 80s of cocaine being like this glamour drug, something that of opulence and success.
Right.
And now it's like, oh, you got this really like less expensive style, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It'd be like, saying like, hey man, there go a Lamborghini for 10% of the cost. Get one, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And though this is not a Lamborghini, a lot of the impacts and effects and what it was happens post afterwards. And then when we also talk about the 80s, I mean, clearly you all can read, Dark Water, the book from Gary Webb, and the relationship between the
CIA.
Yeah, the CIA,
the
our
Contra,
federal
Iran
government
Contra
paying
scandal.
using the profits from crack cocaine business impacting our communities,
That's
black
right.
communities,
That's right.
to secretly fund I guess the Cold War
rebellion.
operation that was against some brothers
In Nicaragua.
as we say, that were brothers and sisters that were fighting for their freedom.
That's right.
That we did not
Yeah,
want to see that come to life.
Yeah, we wanted to overthrow that government, so we
Yes.
helped them, but we didn't have the weapons because Congress wouldn't approve the purchase of new weapons, so they allowed the crack and the cocaine to be sold in our neighborhoods in order for them to buy guns from Iran to give to the Contras in Nicaragua.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? And that we were basically the fall guys.
Yeah, and this is covered a little bit in that same Snowfall series as well. And
Yeah,
I mean,
Freeway Ricky Ross.
And even as we're talking about this, and it sounds so preposterous, it's like, no, this really happened.
Yes.
And this ain't just the first, but it's many instances.
Yeah.
And this also kind of creates more of the tensions between the black community in all forms of United States government.
Yes.
So I just, you lay that out and they be like, y'all crazy. And
everything that they always said was a conspiracy theory. Now you wait a few years later and you see it's all coming out in the open.
Yeah.
Like they say in the Bible, or what we say as phrases in the Bible, what's done in the dark come to the light. And so you can't hide the truth forever. And so now that we're getting more information and access to more information, we're starting to learn these things.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is we have to teach these things to our children. And you got to teach it from the pulpit. And so because I learned, I'm a history buff, I'm all about my people. And so I make sure I tell all our children. I make sure I tell our congregation, our history. And if you don't tell your history and the traps that were set for us that we end up getting into, then they're gonna not know how to, prevent themselves from end up in the same situation.
Very, very, very true. And just even having an understanding of the grasp of a lot of this too, like in that same window. Because even back to like timing, he starts this church in 1969, which is 2 years past the rebellion, which the assassinations of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X are like still all within this short window.
Yeah.
And during this time, all running concurrent during this Cold War conflict,
Yes, sir.
which is basically, a Cold War is basically saying we're going to watch people in not as, not as wealthy European nations, South America, Africa, and Asia have battles against one another and murder each other over this United States of America and Soviet Union conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they pretty much divided the whole world up almost, And I put a base over here. Well, we can't let them get a base over there without us having a base over here. And so that kind of led a whole lot of, foreign policy. And then when you even think about Dr. King, when he spoke out against the Vietnam War.
I believe, yes.
And then they started COINTELPRO.
Yes.
And all those different things. All of those things work together to create the ingredients for this recipe of disaster that we have to face.
And I mean, it still is playing out currently in many international conflicts. Is like you, I'm a history buff as well. Just to get sometimes context and intentionality, and the more that you look to and study, oftentimes, as I've said on this podcast before, it's like you definitely tragically find so many of the actions connected to the United States government have been, things that are, some of the most violent and grotesque acts towards humanity over time.
Yeah.
Even under the guise of helping others.
Yeah.
Usually under the guise of helping others.
America is like, and of course we're not talking about everybody, but as a whole, as a general thing, they're word wizards. They'll come up with something called a Patriot Act.
Yeah.
And make you think it's for you, but really it's against you. They know how to word things.
One of my favorite ones is friendly fire, which basically is saying that me and him are the black soldiers in the platoon, and we go up front, and then the other soldiers that ain't black shoot us in our back. That's friendly fire.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Man. So you got to be very wise and prayerful. You know what I mean?
You got that right.
And like you say, we got to study. The Bible says, study to show yourselves approved. So we got to study. And unfortunately, I didn't start learning any of this stuff until one day I had an epiphany. And I asked God, why is this happening to us? Out of all the people in the world, why is this always happening to us? And I was saying to God, like, I know we do some things wrong, but other people do stuff wrong too. Why it seem like we are? And then that led me to my journey. I think I may have been I had already graduated college. And so I have been about maybe 25, 26, before I actually started digging into my own history.
So let's rewind that a little bit and let's pick up with, I know you mentioned Cass Tech. What was Cass like for you? Why did you choose Cass? What was the focus? We've definitely had many technicians here at Detroit is Different, and we know that it's a high school, but it also is like a college-like study where you choose a discipline and walk that path.
Yeah, man. It's funny because I was going to go to Kettering.
KE.
My mind was thinking, because that's our neighborhood high school, so I wasn't even thinking. And, God just always been leading me into different things. I can't take credit for anything, any ideas, any thoughts, because it was those things that led me in a different direction. So I told one of my sister's friends, I'm like, I'm going to Kettering, And she was like, no, you're not.
Hilarious.
And she's like, you about to take the test for Cass and King and Renaissance. And so I was smart like I said, I would say I was smart, but really, I tell people all the time, since our schools are right down the street, we didn't have any absenteeism.
Okay.
You know, and as a teacher, I know if you're there every day, you're going to pick up on all of the things you need.
You should.
Yeah, most of the time, you know.
Yes.
And, you know, it's at that elementary stage where you learn all the foundational elements of your education. And so because our schools were right in our neighborhoods down the street and we didn't have to rely on transportation. My mother didn't have a car. We just, like I said, we got up in the morning, walked to school.
Yeah.
And so there was really no absenteeism in our schools. And so most of us came out of there knowing how to read, knowing how to do the different things that we knew how to do. So I had a little competition with a lot of my little friends. It was always competition, you know, your timetable sheets, you know, you got to do it in a minute. Okay. You know, all of the methods that they had when going to Chandler, you know, elementary school, was always competition. And, you know, men, we like competition. That's how you get us to move. And so I ended up taking a test. I just said all that to say, you know, I was able to take the test and keep up and score well on the test. And then I got accepted into Cass Tech. And I love science. I love the way learning how things work. And I really love the body. So how does the body work? And at that time, I think it was all about AIDS. Everything was, you know, the same thing that was happening with COVID. They had it going on with AIDS.
It was extremely scary as I remember being introduced to what it was and how it impacts. But even before that, I want to kind of put a pin in that and ask you this question, because I know like that 48214 footprint is also like, and we had a brother B. Anthony in here talking about it a little bit too. But like that's one of those communities where it also, though, like, you know, it's the hood, but Indian Village is right there. So you may also end up with some resources or maybe a student or two from that community too. Was that active at that time? Not really?
The Indian Village was way
up. So
see,
you
we
ain't have none that
48213.
Oh, you won 3. Okay.
Yep. So that was way on the,
that's
you know,
the other way.
that was the other way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So getting into
Cass, yeah.
So you talk about so AIDS, HIV, I'm born 82, so just like the amount of like the awareness campaign, let's just put it like
right.
I remember interacting with, like, being presented to it. And so much of it for me and my memory is like, you know, you just remember certain moments and where you was at in life. I'm a kid. My mom at that time would usually watch the Today Show, and Brian Gumble is in Los Angeles, and Magic Johnson sitting down saying he has HIV. And I was like, you know, I'm a kid, so it's like, all right, what's happening?
What's going on here?
Yeah, what's going on? And then like the wave of like, Salt and Pepper, let's talk about sex and condoms and what AIDS would be in the epidemic. I mean, it was at one point where they were saying, especially, and this is where back to got to pay attention. It was like, well, the numbers in the Black community, more than likely, 80% of you all may die by the time like 1999 happens. And in Africa, we're looking at the population probably being down to 15% of the Africans that are here, which both, thank God, did not come to life in fruition. But that was certainly the wave of the way the information was presented, kind of connected, I think more popular now. Dr. Anthony Fauci was in a lot of that early campaign, and what he spoke to when I read about it is the thought process is people weren't taking this as serious enough. So we thought that definitely presenting the challenges and really having this stark put fear in people, and then we'll wake people up to what's happening there. Yeah, I'm framing what was presented.
That's the same presentation was presented to us. We're not that far apart.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're actually probably getting it. Oh yeah, I'm a kid, so we're like getting. You know what I'm saying? Like the kid version of like counselors coming and saying you got to do this and it's like use a condom. It's like I'm not even.
It was crazy.
I'm far away from.
It was crazy.
I don't think that that's going to be something I even need to consider anytime for a long time.
It was crazy. So I brought that up to say I love science. So my whole thing was because they said it was so prevalent in the Black community. How can I come up with a cure for AIDS? And so that's why I majored in, I did chem bio at Cass Tech.
Okay.
And so I ended up getting my degree in biology. So
wow.
I was always about, you know, how can we cure this disease that's killing us? But of course, as we looking back, like I say, we're kids.
Yeah.
And this is what we see presented to us. But like you said, Fauci was in charge back then.
Yeah.
And if you look at what happened with COVID, everything was go get tested, go get tested, go get tested. And when you look at AIDS, it started out as a white gay male's disease. I don't know if you remember that.
I definitely know. I mean, even acknowledging that now, people will say it's like, that's homophobia, but that's definitely
that's what it was.
The wave of a lot of the early cases. Like, I mean, I remember like, I'm old school because, you know, my grandma, and I love my grandma. And stuff. So I know some old school actors, but like Rock Hudson and, you know, some of the other like Hollywood celebrities that passed away.
Yes. And so they, and that community, they were fighting because they felt that the government was not paying attention to them. And so they were fighting for cures. Yeah. And you know, that's Reagan. Reagan was in office, remember the 80s. Yeah. So and they thought that the Republican Party was just being homophobic. So they didn't want to help them. And so that's how I started finding out that it started in that group, in that subset of the population. Yes. And then all of a sudden, overnight, now it's the Black community that's got all of the AIDS, you know, and now go get tested. And then when I did my research, now, you know, I'm doing our research, we find out they didn't do the clinical trials the same way they didn't do it with COVID. They said it was so severe that and that community was fighting for something. Hurry up and get it to us because we dying. Yeah. And same playbook. You know what I mean? And come to find out, they created the AZT. That was the medicine they created. And then come to find out, AZT was suppressing the immune system and destroying the T cells more than the actual virus was.
And when you speak about this too, something else is like, I'll be watching a lot of stuff. But, you know, just my mind.
Yeah.
One of the shows I watch is American Greed. And American Greed is just basically like a series of like different business people that exploit usually the hearts and minds of people. And sadly, a lot of it usually deals with illness. And there was a foundation at one point in time where that foundation was looked at as the anchor and rock, because the thought process is if you're diagnosed with HIV, chances are it's a death sentence. So it was never even necessarily very active in what was happening. But that American Greed, and also the film Lincoln Lawyer, kind of talks about like a lot of cases connected to what the medicine was doing to people, as, you know, if you kind of like really get into the directness, and you know way more about this because I'm speaking from what I've read and what I know, but white blood cells are in our systems and usually strengthen our immunity towards dealing with many different illnesses and sicknesses. Hence, part of it is also, as they say, like, you know, I mean, you don't want to lay in filth or anything, but our body builds up immunity based on the things that we can track and interact
early in life.
Yeah, early in life.
That's why you're supposed to let the kids go out and play.
Yeah, let the kids go out and play.
It builds their immune system.
Or like, you know, if you go
keep
to
them
certain,
in a bubble.
Yeah, if you go to certain, if you travel to certain places and you're not used to that and you ain't never been in no environment like that, they'll be like, look, take these shots because
it'll help boost
you
your
ain't
immune
ready
system.
for what's here. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what vaccines are. You know, vaccines, they're a piece of, you know, because I ended up in biology and I ended up
virology and things like that.
At Cass Tech. I was put into a program at a molecular biology lab. At Wayne State, which they had a lab around the corner from Cass Tech, so it was an after-school program. And so there I was doing a lot of skin cancer research, different things like that. I ended up getting published in Carcinogenesis. Wow. Yeah, third author when I was, from work that I did when I was 16 years old.
And I also got to say, you know, and this is no offense to the Cass Tech institution now, but that's the old Cass, and Cass corridor is like right there too. So it's interesting. That
we was at the bus stop with the prostitutes, Doc. Yeah, so all of that was right around in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're walking to like
Yeah, we had to walk to the bus stop.
But also like the biology and studying a lot of stuff, especially like when we think of like where HIV and AIDS could be prevalent. And the reason I speak to that population, it deals with the feet, you know what I'm saying? Like the harms of that trade.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so I forgot where I was going with that.
You were saying more so like you were going to this lab at Wayne State while you were in high school.
So I learned all about vaccines and immunity and DNA sequencing and all of those different things. And so, you know, a vaccine is a piece of a protein of an actual virus. So it's not the real virus. So it's a piece of the protein of a virus. They inject it into you, and then your immune system automatically thinks that it's the actual virus because it picks up on that protein and it begins to duplicate and replicate a whole lot of T cells and B cells. And your B cells are memory cells. So the memory cells are produced for that specific disease or that protein.
Yeah.
Just for that particular disease. And so every time a different protein or a virus mutates, because viruses mutate often, and so you would have to get a new vaccine in order to combat the new virus, the mutation.
The new strand.
So there is no one strand that will take care, there's no one vaccine that will take care of all the strands. You know what I mean? And so as we look at COVID and what was going on, you know, you have to, you know, I was looking at it from a different perspective, you know, because I knew taking a vaccine was only going to work for that one strand. And as soon as it mutates, you got to take another one. And you got to take another one. And you got to take another one. You got to take another one. And then it's like, when does it stop?
Yeah.
And then with your B cells, because they tried to I didn't want to take the shot. I just didn't want to take it. That was just my preference. That was what that was me. And because I knew that it didn't cure. It wouldn't stop the next mutated version. So I'm like, there's no reason. And I end up getting COVID already. So my B cells for that particular strand is already in there. The B cells remember the exact structure and DNA sequence of that particular strand. And so I'm already vaccinated. I don't need to get vaccinated again.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? And so I'm a type of person, I don't like to get a lot of medicine. I don't like to introduce a lot of different things into my body because foreign substances do not belong in our body. You know, and that's just from me knowing what I know or studying the way I study, you know? And so so I looked at a lot of things that correlate between AIDS and COVID and the same practices and the same things that happen and how, you know, different things are done, like I say, that I don't think was all the way correct.
So I kind of gotta put one of them classic Kari questions. If you're this young in this lab, and I mean, it may be some other students from Cass there or something, but like, what's the, like, what was the relationship? Just because in my mind, I'm thinking like teenager in chemical lab, biochemical lab, looking at things, especially thinking like, yo, I want to solve, you know, I want to cure AIDS.
Yeah.
What was the thought process like just the culturally, how did it feel?
So, of course, you know, when I was a teenager, I didn't know how to speak proper English. We spoke slang.
Yeah.
You know how it is, you know. So I was when you go into that environment, I was one of the only black kids there. And I think I was the only black kid.
Wow, even though Cass is right there. So you were the one student from Cass.
Yeah. So they only accepted a couple students. So, you know, Cass, we had Indian students.
Yeah.
We had other students of different backgrounds.
Yeah.
So I was the only black student. And so, and particularly, definitely the only male, you know, black student, you know. And so, and then you're in there with all of the top scientists from our state. So, and they're researching cures for different things. They're researching cancer. They're researching different things. And so I was really shy because I had never been in that environment before.
Yeah.
And so I spoke real low and I kept my head down. You know, I didn't want to look up at because everybody there did not look like me. You know what I mean? And there were many different ethnic groups. And I just thought they were so much smarter than me and so much above me because I was never taught to have confidence in myself. I knew my work, but I didn't have the self-esteem to be in that environment to hold my head up.
And also, as you speak to that, and I know it's people watching saying like, oh, you can get this, you can get that. But back to like, we go through things, so we learn things. And one of the most common sense seeming like lessons, but you learn it the more you live. And it's that if you ain't never been there and been in that space, you really don't know how you're going to respond.
That's true. Yeah. I was just put in there. My counselor said, because I was like a little thug, and I was getting all A's. She was like, look, sign up for that. Everybody told me, boy, sign up for this class. And so she made me go. And I walked in there, you never, like you said, if you're in a new environment, never been anywhere, you're going to be a little shy, a little reserved. Yeah. And this was like really, really double down because I'm looking at these scientists. These are the people that I'm trying to be or whatever you want to call it in the profession I want to be in. So, but my mentor there, Dr. States, I mean, he was amazing. He's the one that kind of shaped a lot of my thinking because he was tough. And he was so tough, but he was sarcastic too. So I'm a little sarcastic with my kid. But he was like, what do they teach? When he's trying to teach you something, this is how you pour. It's a technique for everything. This is how you pour one chemical into another, from one flask to another flask. And I was in there shaking, and he's like, give me that. What do they teach you over in these schools now? And so, things like that made me say, you know what? I'm going to go home and study some more because you know how you go when you're the only black person somewhere. You represent all our people.
like I say, until you're in that situation, you don't know you're in that situation. That's right. And then when you're in that situation, because I know it's so funny because I've been in situations like that where it's like when I was younger, it'd be like, oh man, because I'm approaching it like how I would approach things, and then it's like, 1 second, time out. I ain't trying to be, and no offense to him, but I ain't trying to feel like I'm J.J. Evans in here. I gotta keep the pace of what everybody else is doing.
Exactly.
So like at school, it's like, yo, I got a B, that's cool, but everybody else is like, no, I wanted an A+. So it's like, damn, I gotta hit that trigger and get to that A+. Because I'm not about to be in here. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I'm the slowest in the race, in this the way that we run it, So I had to step it up, man. I just felt that up on me, like to have some pride in myself, like to say, you know what, I'm going to study some more because when I go in this environment, I want to be able to express myself and be able to speak intelligently about these topics.
And I also want to say this because in my mind, if I'm tracking age right, like 16, 17, you're also like early 90s hip hop too.
Yep.
That's when that's happening.
Gangster rap.
And it's gangster rap, but it also, to me, I think that's like 89, 90, 91.
Yeah.
Like that 88 to 92 era, which may be like when you was in high school. I like it the most because in it, I felt like I had
variety.
So many different examples of what a black man could be.
Yeah.
Like it's like, I got Luke, I got Heavy D, I got Tribe Called Quest, and they're different than De La Soul.
Right.
I got Chuck D, I got KRS-One. They're different. I got, what I'm saying, Digital Underground, I got
remember
Tupac,
X-Clan,
Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J.
We had the medallions, the African medallions.
All of that. And I mean, in the D, shout out to Awesome Dre. He gonna be coming on here soon. Awesome Dre.
Oh, that's
like you had like
variety.
Here, I guess you had Chaos Maestro too in that, but you also had Dyson, Detroit's Most Wanted.
Dre,
like
Smiley.
You had like all this array. Like we could be many things.
That's right. Yeah. And we call that variety.
Yes.
Options.
Yes.
And now they've taken away all the options,
No,
and so you can vibe with something, that was pertaining and relating to you. And that's what I liked about Cass Tech too. Yeah. Because I got there in 89.
Okay.
And so that was my 9th grade year.
Okay.
In Cass, it wasn't all about name brand for everybody.
Yeah.
Because name brand clothes, that's always been a thing. And trying to look to par.
Yeah.
And we didn't have it. You know what I mean? And so, but I saw some guys in there that was kind of like dressed casual. They had them like looking like Kwame. Remember Kwame?
Yeah, definitely.
They had
Only you.
Yeah. They had the dress shoes and they had the. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna dress like that.
That's
and
my style.
And that way,
Yeah.
I won't look like I don't have anything. You
Yeah,
know what I
I got
mean?
you.
And I look like this is what I'm choosing to do, and so I can fit in a little better. And I adopted a style of casual dress up.
Okay.
You know, so you may see that's why I get my style now. I dress up a lot.
Okay.
Or I can dress down too now, but because as soon as I was able to buy my own stuff,
I got you.
I was like, I'm gonna get some of that Tommy Hilfiger
I got
and
you.
Nautica and all
Yeah.
that. But for the most part, I just wanted to bring that to say options, they matter.
I
Options
definitely
and
think
variety, it matters to kids
So. Mm-hmm.
because we're trying to fit in somewhere.
That and I think about that music as, like I say, we're close, so my older cousins is that, but like I think similar like me going to an African Center school, because like even, you know, and I'm not talking about like second album NWA, but even first album NWA, like it was a strand of black consciousness going on in even the most gangster rap at that time that
that's cute.
I think put something in, you know, a lot of y'all that was like the age to really soak it up in a different way.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It had a tiny bit. It was phasing out.
Yeah,
you know, they
definitely.
You know how the music industry did. They start phasing it out.
Oh,
and bringing in all the riffraff, man.
Yeah,
but at that time, our little young ears, we thought it was like we loved it, you know, and it influenced our thinking and influenced our actions and you know, whatever you look at, whatever it goes into your senses, your five senses, they have an influence over your body.
Definitely.
And you know, and that's one of the things that I study too. So biopsychology, which means that there are some things that you cannot control. Behaviors you can't control once a stimuli is presented. So for instance, if you go and watch a sad movie, you start to tear up. You can't control it.
Yeah.
And so people who control the stimuli, they control your actions, your body, your thoughts. You get what I mean? And sometimes there's nothing you can do about it.
I mean, like in that same arc, it's so funny as you talk about it, because also running concurrent is there, I guess, as they say, like the beginning wave of hood movies. But
oh yeah,
one of the interviews that I got with the brother that was a detective for a long time, and he did private investigation afterwards, but he was like, man, I'm gonna tell you, man, after that damn New Jack City came out, it messed the whole neighborhood up. and I mean, which is based technically off the Chambers brothers here in the city of Detroit, in that North End community.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting.
Yeah.
Because yes, definitely when you talk about stimuli, it's like
amplifying stuff that may have only been regional or isolated, but when you blast it out on every network, now it seems
now
like
I have
it's the thing.
Because even the movie Boys in the Hood, and I like it, but I always felt like that's such a different feel than a lot of even a Menace to Society.
Yeah, Menace was great. Menace was off the hook, man.
Yeah, I think Menace definitely
Old Dog. They
added to many interpersonal conflicts in the community, probably to this day.
Yes, sir, man. And then that character influenced more characters, and so man. So it's very important that we have variety, man, because now they're making us all one-dimensional and making our artists one-dimensional. So what else do these kids got to look up to and try to fit into? You know, I'm listening to the music now, man. I mean, I know it's all, you know, we had gangster music, we had all that, but it's like even the girls are like, remember back in our day, the girls used to like the slow songs and the R&Bs. And now, the girls, they really like the gangster stuff too now, because it's like that's all they hear.
I mean,
so it's you know, we just need more variety, and I think that's what the church is here for. That's what the positive Black community is here for, to bring back variety. And I thank God for podcasts like this, where we can create our own stories and bring our own variety out there. And even with social media, we got to use it to our benefit. You know, let's use it to our benefit, because when it seems like the voices of negativity get the most marketing and the most voice, then they rule the airways. So now it's like, where are we at?
And often, like I say, and it's so tough because now at my age now, I'm 43, and I still love it. I mean, did it myself for a while, but I think a lot of I think a lot of hip hop needs like almost like I think it'd be great to have a psychologist, a social worker, a cultural anthropologist, and whoever is in whatever discipline of faith most connected to where their artist lies, to contextualize some of the music and like put it in a context just to understand really what's happening, because it needs a preface, more so. Yeah. And without that preface, you without that preface, like you're not gonna like get a understanding,
the full context,
I think, or the context of really what's happening. So like a record like and these are like two of my favorites, just with just like Scarface's verses, Brad Jordan. But like a song like Never Seen a Man Cry Till I Seen That Man Die, it's like I don't even got a hook. Yeah. It begins where he's talking about leaving jail. You know what I'm saying? And from beginning to talking about leaving jail, and it's a white inmate that you intentionally, I think, hearing that it's the white inmate, basically like we have this brotherhood here, but we probably wouldn't have it out there. But because we're in this position, we can have this exchange. Right. And it's like, yo, man, try to keep your head up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Those contexts are so important. That's why I love Tupac, man.
And he had a lot of records that definitely, like, man. I mean, he has so many records where he starts off saying, I'm hopeless.
Yeah, man. Pac is amazing, man. I love Pac, man.
I mean, it's like Shed So Many Tears.
Oh, man. My Block.
Man, I love My Block.
Man, Ghetto Gospel.
Brenda
Had a Baby.
Brenda Had a Baby. Brenda Got a Baby. It's so funny because I loved Pac when I heard him first with Digital Underground, same song.
Right.
Me and my sister and everything, watching videos.
Right.
She was like, yo, the dude with the Digital Underground got his own song. It's like different though. And I was like, huh? But even at the start of that, like when he's like, Brenda's got a baby, but Brenda's really got a brain. A damn shame the girl can hardly spell her name. And then Money be like, that's not our problem. That's up to Brenda's family. And then Tupac's like, let me tell you how it affects the whole community.
Yeah.
And it's like,
man,
damn.
that guy was, he was somebody special, man.
And then really to think that him and Biggie are murdered at 24 years old, man, which at one point in time, it's like, they get shot when you're 24.
Yeah.
So you think of like the legacy of what was created then in the context that he could even added on to like so much of what he gave. Man, you know what I'm saying?
He's so much, man. I used him as a teacher. When I started teaching, when I had to teach similes and metaphors, I would take the rap lyrics off of some of his songs, and we would go and listen to him, and we'll talk about his songs and what he meant. And, like you said, given that context. Yeah. And, man, I mean, he was amazing, man. Like, we had some wonderful people to be able to grace the platform. A lot of alliteration, too. I mean, many poetic things. So now I guess I got to get back into this journey. I know you said, like, it was like 25 where you're like, I want to tap into that. So you from Cass, you're in these labs. Do you carry on with that into college? What was the thought process? So yeah, I ended up when I went to college, I went to U of M. I majored in biology. I said I'm gonna keep on with this, and I thought I was gonna go. I want to either go to medical school or maybe go into pharmacy.
Okay, so you go to if you're Cass 89, that means you're like
I'm out in 93.
Okay, 93. So you're walking on campus when Fab Five World is.
They were just leaving.
Yeah.
Yep. So and I was there when Chris Floyd when they won the the football team, Woodson and all them, they won the Rose Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Charles Woodson squad.
Yeah. So they were seniors and stuff, and I just got up in there. So that was a wonderful time, man. Wonderful time.
Okay. And what was it like just taking those classes there? Because I'm assuming at this point you're more comfortable being one of the only black students, but also that's kind of concurrent before Proposal 2 even happens. And it's one of those things that always just bothers the hell out of me. And I've had these debates with many folks, but it's like, I mean, damn, it's like if you think a black person is taking your opportunity from the University of Michigan, like,
come on, man.
I mean, you could literally, like, if you got $10 for every black person you found on this campus of University of Michigan, and when I say black, I mean college black. So they could be African, they could be Caribbean, they could be from wherever.
Right. Come on, man.
If you could go today and get $100, it may be difficult.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So it's like and I've heard the stories. It's like, oh, my cousin had nothing but 4.0s but didn't get in. And it's like, how?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, that's not our,
And black people taking that opportunity?
No, we're not taking the opportunity from you.
But
we earned it.
I mean, I always try to stand on that post when I can. But what was it like just in those classes? Because I'm guessing it was
it was like 500.
Real.
It was 500 people in the classroom. So and like you said, I was in biology, so it was really only a few black people in the class in the lecture hall. So
and I'm thinking also with biology, most of these people were probably, I'm thinking in my mind, wanting to be doctors.
Yep, either doctors or something in that field.
Medical,
medical field.
Not necessarily
pharmacy,
research where you were.
Yep. And so I felt comfortable because I had so much training with the molecular biology lab. I was deep, dog. I knew because I actually did the stuff. I had pipettes. I mean, I grew bacterial labs. I did all kind of stuff, colonies, all that stuff, man. And so when I got up there, man, I was acing everything.
Wow.
My first test, I had to get used to it though, because I found out that it wasn't. These schools are not that hard.
Yeah.
What they do is they try to trick you. And so it's a lot of trick questions. So I went in there thinking, not paying attention for the trick question, just going in there trying to just answer the question, just on face value. But found out I didn't see one of the words that said, pick the one that's not the answer or something like that, So it just made me really pay attention. And so I didn't experience a whole lot of racism, but it was there. I experienced it. Matter of fact, one of my biology tests, I aced it. I aced everything in biology, man. So organic chemistry, all that. So we get out, we finish the test. There's a ton of us, right? We walking out, and it's a white guy. He says, "Yeah, man, that test was tough." I said, "Yeah, it was pretty tough." And he said, I got a F. What'd you end up getting, a D? No, he said, I got a D. What you end up getting, an F? I said, no, actually I got an A. And it just showed me the mentality. Your mentality is that just because you got a bad grade, since you got a D, I must have got an F. Because no way possible I could be smarter than you.
Yeah.
And so that's some of the mentality that you come up against, where people just on looking at you just don't think that you're as smart as they are. And so we dealt with that. I was always top, man. It just made me, all adversity does is make sure that I do bring my A game all the way, 100%.
Okay, so after U of M, what was the thought process? I'm guessing you're thinking like, hey, I'm going to go one of these labs. And in my mind, I'm thinking most of that world is probably like in California or like Oregon. I don't know why I think the West Coast.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, I was just thinking about medical school.
Okay.
So I was the president of the Black Pre-Med Association.
Okay.
And so I was doing pretty good. And right around the time it was time for me to take the MCATs, the test you take to get into medical school.
Yeah.
My mother called me and said I had a warrant for my arrest.
Wow.
I said, what? What's going on?
Warrant for your arrest?
Yeah. And it was for child support.
Whoa.
I was a teen dad. So before I left Cass, I had my first daughter.
Okay.
And when I went ahead and kept on with my education, I didn't have any advice from anybody that could tell me how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So I did what people were telling me to do. Keep your receipts and everything. All these different. The guys tell you what to do.
Like what they call the jailhouse attorney.
Right.
The jailhouse.
Yes,
it's like what you got to do is when you do this and that, and then the jurisdiction.
Exactly.
And it's like, okay.
And the providence of the particular situation.
Like,
I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
with this. And when I put my social security number backwards,
right.
and then I submitted that way, they
You
can't
good.
find me
They can't-
anyway.
Yeah, you're a sovereign. You're a sovereign individual. They can't do nothing to you. Oh, okay, all right. but I said, let me come down. I got to come down here and take care of this. And I said to myself, man, I can't be going to medical school dealing with this. So I kind of just changed up my whole situation.
Okay.
I said, I'm just going to graduate, get my degree, and go back home. And I went back to the molecular biology lab.
Okay.
And I was and then they put me as an environmental toxicologist.
Okay. Now, and toxicology, as I get it, like usually in our community, is definitely looking at like what's in somebody's body, like the different substances, like if a person passes, but even before, like what's happening around, what's floating in you. But I do want to have the discussion as teenage dad, where you all what was that like? The relationship between the families. You know, was it just like basically like, you know, I didn't know what, how, why, when.
Yeah, Doc. It was just all bad.
I got you.
Kids trying to be grown, and me in particular, because I was 16.
Yeah.
And the young lady stayed down the street on the other block, on the other end somewhere, and she was 19. And so, you know, we was doing what we do.
I got you.
You know, and got caught up in there, and you know, didn't. And just at first, I was like, well, you know, we say, hey, it's not mine.
We can reference Menace to Society again,
right?
Which in a lot of ways, the conflict that led to the murder.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man.
So definitely better circumstances.
So when I say I've been through every hood situation you could think of, I've been there, Doc. And that's why I'm the type of the preacher or pastor that I am, because of all my previous experiences. But you know, so I came home and I started substitute teaching.
Okay.
After I did the environmental toxicology stuff, I didn't really like it, but I did want to touch on something that I did in
toxicology.
No, in my sophomore year at U of M. So I was able to get in this program called Summer Research Opportunities, and that's when I worked as an intern with the MD PhDs, and so we were working on something called oxygen toxicity, and so I learned that the problem with oxygen tanks and with patients with oxygen tanks, if they're on the oxygen tanks too long, then it will dry out the lungs. And then cause scar tissue to cover your lungs.
Wow.
And when that happens, your lungs cannot expand. So you have breathing problems. And so our task was to figure out how to prevent this toxicity, this oxygen toxicity from happening. And so we were in there working with lab rats and all that stuff. So I learned how to do tracheotomies. I learned I use the sutures, how to sew up the, you know, like do some little surgery stuff. I even had all of that on my resume, so it was real cool. I love science, man. So I love science, but now I just took when I finally started to learn about our history, I just took my same methodology of how you understand things and break it all the way down. And you know, science is all about patterns.
And also, and shout out to the Nation of Islam, but more so talking about somebody K.E. Dawood Muhammad. Dr. Muhammad, etymology, meaning like words themselves are science. So like
that's right.
Inside the word comes the origin, the understanding, the meaning.
That's true.
That's what makes English so difficult because, you know, it's so many words that have like multiple meanings.
Yeah.
We change it. And I mean, we just do the colloquialisms or slang. We may change it on top of changing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. English is funny, man.
You know?
So yeah, I see a lot of comedians who come from other countries when they come and they talk about the English language. It's hilarious when they're learning. But yeah, man, so that's when you get into linguistics. You know, and when you start to get to the original languages, so even with the Bible, I'm all into what is the original Hebrew word, what is the original
Aramaic.
Greek? Yeah, Aramaic. Which ones were written in Aramaic originally? Which ones were written in Greek or Hebrew? So I study I study. Yeah. You get what I mean?
And I bring that up in medicine often because it was actually shout out to rest in peace Aunt Shirley, because she would be able to just like, even if she didn't know, she knew enough about medicine just to know the suffixes and prefixes to know like, oh, well,
That's
this
right.
is this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're just scanning you for this.
Yes.
Nah, if they do this, they're gonna be cutting you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, thank you. And it's like,
Yeah.
I needed that information.
And it's funny how like things that we think are very complicated, when you actually just take the time to kind of, digest it, it's not as complicated as we think. And they make us think that we can't understand things when you really can if you just take a couple of little, study tools and different approaches, you can understand some of this stuff.
But I'm going to shout out one of my professors back in the day from Henry Ford Community College, Professor Padilla, my econ teacher. I'd be like, man, y'all using all this jargon. He's like, because it's full of jargon.
Yeah.
I oftentimes think that the jargon, and also even the, I always like the term pageantry. Like sometimes we create, you're designing language and systems, pageantry, places, settings, so that it would make a person naturally not even want to question what's going on.
Right.
A hospital is definitely one of those spaces and places. The white lab coats, the way the lighting is set up,
Intimidation.
the way that, you're going to be seated and others are going to be looking at you. So it could be just something very simple, but
real.
it will be
Serious.
subconsciously back to
Yes.
what we emote. They're like, I can't say anything.
Yeah.
Colleges, it's this big lawn before you walk in here,
Yeah.
the high ceilings. And I mean, these
Yeah.
are in cathedrals and churches.
Yes,
So
yes.
all of
that.
I'm not going to even question. Courtrooms are like that. Like the high
the
ceilings
judge
there.
is the
and
judge's
they're
bench
up on a
is
bench.
all the way
and
up there.
The bailiff is like,
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
stand. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
it's not going to be like, hey, man, no, I ain't about to do this. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to be the exchange you would
Yeah.
have with these same people
That's
if you
right.
were, if we was just at Belle Isle and
Just
sitting at
kicking
the
it.
card table.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because all of the things around
Right.
make you feel like, I don't even want to be one of these people.
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you know what
Yeah,
I'm
for
saying?
real, man. And that's how I felt when I went to the molecular biology lab for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just intimidating. You're
Yes.
just intimidated. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't belong here.
Yeah.
And but and it's just to everybody, just go in there. Just get in the room. Just go.
I agree. And like I said, when you first brought it up, sometimes you got to go through it to see it,
Yeah.
to feel it, to kind of know where
Yeah.
things are. I mean, the very sad thing is like, the two systems that, one, you don't even want no parts with, and that's the court system.
For sure,
And
definitely.
I always urge people at least try to sit in the back and find out what's going on.
Right,
Because
right.
it ain't TV.
Exactly.
It ain't TV.
Yeah.
And like I always say, it's going to cost you the two things. The best case scenario is the worst case scenario because it's going to cost you time and money.
Mm-hmm.
If it costs you time and money and you get locked up, it's like,
Yeah. That's
really messed
that's
up.
a bad dude.
It can happen. But, you need
sure.
to know how to navigate it. But
Yeah.
medical, it's even tougher
Yeah.
because
It is
oftentimes,
kinda
as I've
complicated.
learned just in caretaking and even myself and all of this stuff, it's like, between test to test and going here and going there, like, you won't even ask probably the most simple, like, why I got to do this before that? We
Right.
just did this and we did that. And,
Right. And
you
what
ain't
is-
talking to them. You need to talk to them how you talk to your mechanic.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And what exactly is this pill about to do?
Mm-hmm.
Is it what part of my body is this affecting? How is it going to make me better? Explain it to me. I want explanations for everything. You just can't tell me anything. You know what I mean? And I attribute a lot of that just from being those different places and experiences. Like I said, starting at that molecular biology lab.
Yeah.
We don't have to be intimidated. We can ask questions. We can talk to people, and that's when we get to. Even when I talk to my congregation, I talk to my students. I talk to the young moms in my program. Don't be intimidated. Advocate for yourself. Speak up. Nobody's better than you. My mother used to tell me, ain't nobody better than you, and you ain't no better than nobody else. Hold your head up. Ask questions.
And as you share that, but that's also why the whole, like, even the, when we usually, why, I know especially at African Center School, but it happens in other settings too. People like, it happens in churches too. Like people like to set the chairs up in a circle. That way we can all look at one another versus I'm going to stand, I'm going to be way over here at a desk and me and the other people and y'all going to be standing in a row or even worse, y'all got to walk up and then talk to us, one by one. You know what I'm saying? Which is not back to like what you say, we're at the same level. So
Yeah.
now I want to jump into, so you come back substitute teaching. What district you substitute teaching in?
Okay.
Where do you start? What was that like?
Man, so I'll say this real quick. Yeah, so when I came home, we did the environmental toxicology. Then I went and I started substitute teaching at Rudderman Middle School.
Middle school.
Yep, middle school.
Oh, man.
Rudderman Middle School.
Oh,
man.
I'm sure that was a.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
It was like, man, you don't know what an 11 and 12-year-old can teach you.
Oh, man.
Until
Let me
you got
tell you.
30 in front of you.
And let me tell you, man, I'm still raw, man. You know, I'm still East Side, Doc. No matter what. I was all the way up at U of M acting the fool, Doc. I almost got kicked out of there. So we like I say, some stuff stay with you, Doc. So
and also this too. Anybody that goes in like those classrooms, man, middle school is tough because I think in middle school that's when roasting is at its highest.
Oh,
and you
yeah.
don't think that like an
Yeah.
11-year-old, if you grown, can
Oh
roast
yeah.
you. Woo!
And you know I'm not that tall. So
Oh.
so and then I just, I came in and I'm young.
I know.
So,
and you're a substitute.
And
so
I'm a substitute.
A substitute is like, oh, we about to roast him.
And look, and look, somebody, I just got that. I don't know how I got that job. I can't remember, but I was like, I got to get out of it. The environmental toxicology job was not working for me. It was some other. They had me doing some stuff. I'm like, I'm too smart to be doing this. So I can't remember how I ended up.
Yeah.
Somebody told me about the job, and I went ahead and applied. And that's bad when we using teaching as fallback. Hey, I ain't got nothing else to do.
You keep
let
it
me
in
go
100. You keep it in 100.
And that's what it was. I'm like, let me go in. I ain't got nothing else to do. Let me go try this. So I didn't know nothing about proper way to talk to kids and political correctness. None of that, Doc. I was off the chains, Doc.
He was like Major Payne.
Right. Bruh, say that again. What you say? Say it again. Because some of the stuff, it was amazing me. I was like, what? Say
I know, because I be seeing these little homies. It be so funny.
It's good. Yeah. I'm out the But anyway, through that, I ended up, I started to love teaching, though.
Okay.
I started because... I adapted because
crazy
I'm always me. I'm crazy.
When you see somebody and you start seeing some of the impact, it's like, damn, man. All right, come on. Man.
Yeah, man. So, you be yourself. I was me, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I did what I did, but I was like, hey, after I gained the respect,
I got you.
now I was able to really pour into the kids, and then I started really, started liking it. You're like, you know what? And so I ended up going back to school, getting my teacher certification. Okay. Then I got a master's degree.
Where did you go back to school to?
I went to a place called Spring Arbor.
Okay.
Because they had a program that you can go one day a week after work.
Oh, and that worked for your schedule.
It worked for the schedule, and it was only 1 year program.
And then also, I'm thinking, while you're doing this concurrently, actually something like that is going to be... I guess you kind of did that also with biochemistry because you was already in the lab. So like you had like actual practice to take, because just for people that know this, since I've been in that place too, like sometimes we go to school with the theory of like, okay, we're going to do this afterwards. It's different if you in school and about to be like, oh, I'm going to use that tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're in class different. And you know the difference between the people that's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this later versus the person that's like, what you say?
Right.
Tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that was a very interesting, interesting thing. And that's why I say God has led me in all kind of ways. And I got so many different experiences.
Okay.
And then one other thing about when I went to University of Michigan, which is gonna lead to the next little piece.
Yeah.
When I got there, it was such a big difference from my block.
Oh, you got that right.
To the college campus and the surrounding area. So we go from abandoned houses, lots, empty, boarded up building, all this type of stuff. And 45 minutes down the road, we're talking about
the big house.
The big house, man.
Frat houses.
Other students pulling up in Mercedes Benzes.
Yeah.
And back in them days, we had Jeep Cherokees. Those were the hot thing.
Yeah, Porsches.
So, all this stuff. You're like, what in the world? They same age as me? What's happening here? So you get a real, I would say culture shock, but it's an eye opener for me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I was really, that's how people living for real?
Hey.
So sometimes you don't know how bad you got it till you really go see what's really going on in the rest of the world. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so that did something to me. So seeing that and being like, wait a minute. And before I left college, I saw this big old house, and it had the for sale sign on it. And so I was like, you know what? I wonder how much this house costs. So I just called, and the lady told me $400,000. And I said, I had no idea about mortgages or anything like that. I said, these people got $400,000 sitting in the bank. They can just go cash out a house like for $400. I said, man, this is crazy. I'm like, when I get, man, we got to do better. This can't happen like this. So when I got home, man, that was one of the things I did. I called one of the houses in Detroit. I said, let me see how much these houses cost down here. And I called, and the lady said, you been approved? I said, what is that? What that mean? And she said, call this number, get approved, then get back with me.
Hilarious.
And then I called the number. I say, the lady, I'm trying to get this house, trying to find out how much this house costs. The lady told me to call you about getting approved, but I don't know what that is. Can you tell me what this is? And so he started explaining, we got to talking back and forth. And before you know it, he asked me, did I want a job? I asked so many questions.
Yeah.
He said, you want a job?
Yeah, it does get to a point where it's like, damn, man.
Right. I say, doing what? He said, helping people get houses. I said, yeah. So I became a loan officer.
Wow.
So while I was substitute teaching, after I left from the school, I would drive to the office and I would try to get loans originated.
This like a Mr. Miyagi way to you becoming like Mr. Byrd too. It's like you picking up on some of the other things.
All kind of stuff like stuff that
he was
never
a counselor,
even thought.
you was a teacher.
Right.
He selling insurance, you getting people cribs.
Right. I'm selling mortgages, so you know same thing. Yeah, man, and so all these different experiences have been
now. What era
pivotal.
Is this when you're doing that?
So this when I was substitute teacher. So this right after college.
Okay, so after college, that's pre. Which some of them were
era. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is pre.
So this is so I graduated in 97. So we talk about 98, 99.
Okay, so this is pre the crash, but during then it was still some good loans. I think the heavy, like when everybody I know was doing real estate, like 05 to like maybe like 04 to like 07. It was like, it was like, yo, man, you didn't do too good selling candy in high school. I don't necessarily know if you should be getting real
job. You want a job? And know me from Adam. I ain't take no test, nothing.
It was.
You asked enough questions. Come on, get a job.
It was a little wild west.
Yeah.
There's some real estate at one point.
Yeah, for real. But you know what? I couldn't get no loans closed. I'm like, but I learned the game.
I got you.
And so I closed a few, you know, but for the most part, I couldn't, you know, the clientele I was getting, you got to go to your friends, you got to try to go knock on doors of real estate agents' offices, take some donuts to the secretary, ask if they'll send you some leads. It was, you know, you only got paid if you closed a deal.
But you also, it's like walking that path like Mr. Byrd, learning the neighborhood, getting to interact with people, and then like I'm assuming, because you already kind of had some, I mean, I know you had some suits, some pants and all that stuff.
Yeah, I had to match something together.
Something, you know, something stands out. This is for any young brother watching. If you're under 30 years old and you a black man and you put on a suit, people are interacting with you different.
They're gonna look at you different.
Take it how you will with that information.
That's right. You gotta do. You gotta dress just like you put on a uniform, play football, basketball, whatever. Put your uniform on. You know, ain't nothing wrong with changing. Switch it up if you have to get the best possible situation for yourself.
It will definitely. It will change some of your interactions.
It really will. It really will.
For a young brother watching, just take it with you.
Yeah, you know? Do that.
So you're in this neighborhood, walking these paths. When do you shift over to becoming the past? Well, first let's go Black History. When does the Black History thing hit you? Because I'm guessing it's like right then.
Not yet. Still not yet. I'm just focused on working.
Okay.
And then once I started learning about the houses, and I started trying to say, I got to get my credit together.
Gotcha.
So I started getting myself together, and that's when I started flipping houses.
Okay.
So I was all about buying houses, fixing them up. I'm all about making some money. We got to make some money. I'm looking at how these people lived over there. We living like this.
We can catch up.
It's time for me we got to take it up a notch. I went to my mother. She been renting for 30 years. Same house, you know, that I grew up in. When I say, Mom, let's call a landlord. Since I learned all this stuff, I learned about land contracts. I learned about all that stuff. So I was able to get my mom to be a homeowner.
Wow.
So we talked to the landlord. We asked would he sell it to us. She didn't have any credit, all this other stuff. I said, give it to us on land contract. Wow. And then from the land contract, we refinanced it.
Wow.
And so
that right there, that story, I mean, people talk about doing something for somebody to buy the home that you grew up in that your mom was still renting.
Yeah,
That's powerful.
it was a blessing,
I think
man.
that is very powerful, and I mean, just one hell of a applause to you. And I'm sure just in watching that, I didn't even ask how many brothers or sisters, but I know you got a sister. But I'm sure family even witnessed something like that, and what that even meant to and means to your mom. That's powerful. Man.
Yeah, I was really happy to be able to do that. Just with a little bit of information that we don't have. And it didn't take a whole bunch of money. It just took the right information because I knew about land contracts. So you had to come out with no money. And I talked to the landlord, told him you're going to get paid, do the land contract, woo, woo, wham. Next thing you know, we refinanced, and she was able to pull money out, with lump sum of money. Get the house. We had the worst house on the block. So with the money that she pulled out, she was able to get the house renovated, looking,
porch, get the roof.
the whole nine, man. Did it, so it was a blessing, man. Now
big
we went
screen TV, what they say?
Right.
Marble floors,
right. Yeah,
TV.
give me that. Yeah, give me 3 TVs in the kitchen.
No more rent-a-center.
Right. You know what I mean? So so it was a blessing, man. And from there, I started flipping houses. And then that's when the '08 crisis came. Man, I was able to pull out like $90,000 out of 2 of the houses I got. I took that 90. I went and bought 5 more houses. And I'm like, I was getting them for 50. And they were worth 120.
Yeah.
So I'm about to pull 50 out of each one of these. I'll go get 250,000.
Yeah.
I did all that work. And then when I went back to refinance, I'm sorry, excuse me.
No, you straight.
They said we ain't giving out no more loans.
Wow.
I'm like, what? So I had got loans on all those houses. End up, everything went in foreclosure.
Wow. So you basically
I lost everything.
You not only back to square one.
Lost the negative.
Yeah.
Had to do bankruptcy, foreclosure, all that. I had 7 houses at the time.
Whoa.
Yeah, man. So, I had to go through that, and but lesson and everything. God always got my back, man. You keep your eyes focused on the Lord. I ended up, when I came back, I said, you know what? I'm gonna focus on commercial properties, and that's how I started buying commercial buildings.
Yep.
And I'm like, they can't. I'm like, I was buying them cash. So, and I was able to get my first commercial building for $500.
Wow.
In the auction.
Wow.
So the Lord was just, and I like I said, the Lord put this stuff on me. I just be trying to do stuff, and I see things.
Okay. Yeah, man, that's heavy. You go, like you say, you working back up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So flip those houses and all that stuff, man. And then I bought my first pastor's house, Pastor Byrd. When I went back to my mom's house, of course, when you get to a certain age, get to me and her get to arguing. Plus, I was doing stupid stuff. She was like, "Look, you got to get yourself together." And then we finally had it out, and I said, "I'm out of here." And I asked my pastor, who had a house, asked his wife, because my Pastor Byrd had passed away. And my new pastor came, Pastor Bradfield, who was also a great man of God, great inspiration, great role model. He was an entrepreneur too. He was on the police force, so he had retired from the police department, and he owned a fish store. We was talking about fish earlier. He owned D&G Fish right there on Gratiot and Harper.
Okay, I know exactly where that is.
Yep. So next to Tanya's record store.
I was gonna say I have patronized.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that was my pastor, man.
Okay.
So, that was my next pastor. He was a great role model. But anyway, what was I saying? Boy,
so you were basically saying you get the house from the Mr. Byrd, Pastor Byrd.
Yeah. So I got his old house. So I talked to his wife, and she let me get it on land contract. See, I learned all that stuff from doing that stuff with the mortgages.
There you go.
So I got it on land contract, and I paid her off. She said, "How much can you afford?" I said, "I can only afford $125 a month."
There you go.
And so she was my first lady, So she said, "I'll give it to you." And then because it was sitting there, it was really dilapidated. So I went in there and fixed it up, man.
Okay.
So I think from that instance, I was able to look at stuff that was messed up and see the potential. Because I had to leave my mom's house, and I had to go somewhere. And so I worked it out. That place was abandoned. It was rough, Doc, And so, but I said, hey, I got to live somewhere.
Man, And I'm definitely gonna have to I gotta get you back soon because we near the end because I know I got another interview.
Okay.
But I just want to jump in. Like I know you touched on it. You definitely have you have many different projects and programs that you've connected with and worked with. I know you have something for mothers that are in the community.
Yes, sir.
But you also work with young people. I mean, you guys are hearing the story, so some of this is just like, hey, I'm gonna tell you what not to do from me doing it.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes,
so
sir.
Those are sometimes the best testimonies.
Yes, sir.
But what are you working on currently?
So right now, as I was teaching, and it's important for them to show you how this stuff connects. As I was teaching, oh, you telling me about the Black History. Do you want me to go back into that?
Yeah, you can touch on that.
Okay. So I talked about getting the house from my pastor's wife. Yeah. With that, I was able to go and I sold that one, made some money off that one. I put down on another house over near the church where I have now.
Okay.
And the neighborhood was really nice. It was like going to like a suburb of Detroit as it pertains to the east side. We were right before you got to East English Village.
Okay. Yeah.
Place was nice, man.
I know that neighborhood.
Yeah, that 48224 area was real nice, man. And but what happened was I was still carrying my gun, everything, man. I was still partying. I was still doing my thing. I was me, you know, and my neighbors and my cousins and all that. And like I say, all the men in my family, they pretty much been in jail or had some kind of situation with the law, as well as myself. Not to the bigger degree as they did, but the kids started getting older, man, on the block, and then the area started getting bad, man. And so I found myself about to start getting into it with people to the point where I was ready to go and act the fool.
Risk things that you shouldn't risk.
Exactly. And that's when I asked God, like, because I was right about to do it. I said, God, I'm over here and the Lord stopped me in my tracks. I said, Lord, I'm over here with a college degree. I'm in church. Been in church all my life.
Yeah.
And I'm still ready to do this.
Yeah.
And we still getting into it. What's really wrong with, first I asked God what's wrong with me. And then what's really wrong with all of us? Why are we like this with each other? Why are we so easy to fight each other and do this type of stuff? And so that led me on a journey for my history. That question took me on a journey. That was the catalyst that took me on a journey.
So with that, and like I said, I'm definitely welcoming you back. Where do you start? What's the first book you read? What do you grab first?
Man, it was crazy. It was Google.
Okay.
I actually typed in my question in Google.
Okay. And then
from there,
where do you go?
I started on YouTube, watching videos. Then that's when I started learning about the civil rights movement. I started learning about Marcus Garvey, learning about Nat Turner, learning about the whole thing. Then I start.
It's so interesting that you speak to this because I learned about so much of this when I'm younger. So I can only imagine what it's like to like be introduced to this as you're older. And now even like being reintroduced to who Martin Luther King and Medgar Evers are from Pastor Byrd. I'm sure that had to lay on you.
Because at the time I didn't even have it wasn't even significant to me.
That's deep.
You know, man. And so what it did was it made me angry. You know, it made me really upset. You know, and so I was very militant.
That wave happens, and it's a lot of brothers and sisters still there in that wave. And you know, it's kind of like what my dad says. It's like when they be like, what's the public enemy? It's like I got the right to be hostile. Like damn near like black and being a little off. You probably in your right mind because to be in quote unquote right mind in the chaos of what we deal with, it's gonna take a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because
sir.
I mean, this ain't.
Oh man,
you know, as Marvin Gaye say, makes me want to holler. And I mean, he made that song. 71.
You
know, and
all of
everything that he's talking about in inner. You know what I'm saying?
Ball of confusion, everything.
Everything he said in that song is applicable today.
Yes, sir.
And it's in the community that we have, and it even transitions because so much of it's like and it's so funny that you even talk to DNA because I'm really gonna have a conversation with you about that because even the way that DNA was presented to everyone in the 90s. I'm sure you're learning so much more about it. But as you talk about like the biochemistry, I know from that DNA, they talk about like, I bring this up on a lot of Detroit is Different. Like they say like if you have an alcoholic in your family, it can track and trend in your DNA, they say, for like 4 generations. And that just makes me say like, well, damn, with the stuff that we've been through.
Yeah, the post-traumatic slave syndrome, all of those things, but that's something called social heredity. When some of those things are social heredity, but then there are other things, like you say, they got something now called, I can't remember the term. I'm mad at myself. But it talks about how your thoughts are actual pockets of energy that can turn on and turn off genes. Yeah, so that's a new form. That new form of science has been discovered.
It's so weird about all of that. Like a lot of this stuff. So some of it people will say is Nation of Islam. Some of it is just old black folks saying and different things. And they'll say definitely that this is hoodoo and it's of, not. I think a lot of our cultures, like some of this stuff we've been living with our whole life when you say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I do think like, I guess people were really big on The Secret a couple years ago, but like it's not as literal as I think. You think to yourself, like Holly Berry and Risky's Business gonna stop me in the street and be like, all right, why we ain't dating? I don't think it's like, I don't think that's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I think definitely back to like you associate yourself, the thought process is technically you're gonna move in that direction, in that motion because that's what it's going to be.
Exactly.
I mean, the classic example is this. If anybody knew somebody like this, like the little kid that's like the younger brother of everybody, like if his brother's like, let's say 4 years older, so he got to play basketball with all the other kids, he gonna be horrible probably most of the time. But by the time he gets someplace, it's like, damn, how can he hoop? Because he's been playing with guys that's 4 years older than him.
Exactly.
And it could be hooping, baseball, football, boxing, whatever it is. When you hear these athlete stories, it's usually the guy that was the youngest being with the older kids because you're gonna catch up. And I think it's kind of like that.
Yes. And I figured out the term epigenetics. So epigenetics, it talks about how your thought process and it actually turns on and off genes. So we're talking about cancer and all that stuff. There's a gene that gets turned on, the growth gene in your cells that make your cells just keep growing. Yeah. And when we say growing, that means they keep dividing. And so you get the tumors and it starts to starve the rest of your body. So those are things that the Bible told us. And when he says, as a man thinketh, so is he. All of those,
I was gonna say a lot of
catching
these,
up.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's sometimes scary.
Rest
peace to my Uncle Wally, because he was one of the first brothers in the nation. And also, he definitely was one of the brothers in the nation that has still some street edge to him. But like, some of the stuff that he would talk about, it's like, man, Uncle Wally.
Come on.
And then it's like, nah, it's like, damn. Yeah. It's like, and then you flip on the paper and you see this and it's like, okay, where did this come from? So like, I think a lot of the knowledge has always existed. It's just back to like how we look at it and how we know it. I mean, I'm even one to believe in that there are different, I guess like, I don't know if I'd say dimensions, but I definitely think that there are multiple realities that can play out and happen based upon where things are at. And I'll even take it as far as to say like, we sometimes be in the same realities. Like, you know what I'm saying? What you see versus what I see, because this is still about perception being reality. And I know I'm sounding very metaphysical now, but it's real. Meaning like, me and you in the same place, but due to your focus on this and my focus on that, we're in different dimensions.
Right.
And that
we're seeing
you know what I'm saying?
we
wasn't in a different realm, but our dimensions can be in completely different places. That's why, like, it'd be family members that like, that was the craziest thing ever. And then it'd be another person like, man, I just remember I was eating birthday cake.
Right.
Classic story I closed with on this in that same arc. Shout out to my cousin Tanya and Tam. But they was babysitting us one day. I want to say I'm like 7 years old. My sister Dar. I'm just trying to go to the Long John Silver's like across the street from Northland, if people remember back when it was one. And one night in the late 80s, it was a crew that robbed all like 4 fast food places all next to each other.
Dang.
So because I wanted to go up and place my own order, the crew that's coming in to rob is coming in to rob. I'm thinking about my fries. I'm a kid. They're robbing them, then robbing the other people and robbing the other people. My sister and everybody else was like under the desk. I mean, under the table, I think, as you should probably be in in a fast food robbery. Hopefully you never go through something like
You
that.
looking for your fries.
My presence of mind was on French fries at that time.
Yeah.
Two totally different realities.
And look, that brings me to the 4 Gospels. The reason you got 4 Gospels, you see, and sometimes they say this don't agree with this and that. They were looking at the same things Jesus was saying. They looked at it and they're reporting it from their perspective. So it doesn't conflict. You're just getting information that you didn't get in one from the other. You get what I mean? We can all look at a car accident, and like you said, I can focus on one part, another one focus on another focus on something else. And so I just had to throw that in there. But but back to me being angry, because it's gonna lead to my nonprofit and stuff.
Yeah.
I began to be that guy, like on Menace, when he kept coming around, like, here you go with that again. You
became Hakeem.
Yeah,
I love it. It's like when he on the cooler. I love that line. 'Cause people always say like I'm him.
Yeah.
It's like why you on the cooler? It's
right.
To keep you from drinking this poison.
You see what I mean? Man, so it just make you angry because nobody want to listen to you. So you always upset, angry. You're trying to teach y'all something. We getting attacked. Wars on, it's all that, Don't you see us in the food? Don't you know? So it's
like,
all,
hello, brother. Hello, brother.
Exactly.
You know what hell is low, brother? Your mind.
Yeah. That's
What's up?
Yeah.
What is up?
And so of course, I'm bringing that to my family, my wife.
Damn, I just want to watch the Thanksgiving
That's all
game.
I want to do.
Like Thanksgiving.
That's all I want to watch game. I just want to watch the game.
You over here celebrating. Talking about the pilgrimage.
Right. You want to watch a game. Don't you know you in the game? You being played like a game? Man, I was preaching like that all the church. I said, hey, we done prayed enough. Now it's time to do that. So I had,
They sneaking around you like, we want to play spades.
Right.
We want to play spades.
Exactly. Yeah. So that phase. So I took that to my job when I was teaching. So I started teaching to the kids. I'm over there like, listen up. Y'all need to quit playing. And I'm going on, the mayor ain't doing nothing. The governor ain't doing nothing. President ain't doing nothing. Y'all got to get together. Girl, this 11-year-old girl, she raised her hand. She said, Mr. Bell, I said, yes. I'm in my mode. She said, what are you doing? I said, oh.
I know.
So she hit me in the gut. She hit me right there.
I know.
And then I had to save face. I said, what I'm doing is teaching y'all about what you need to do. So, but when I went home that night, I said, you know what, that girl right. If I can't complain about nothing if I'm not willing to get out here and do something.
Shout out to her. You remember her name?
Man, I think her name was Cheyenne, I believe.
Cheyenne. Shout out to Cheyenne.
She don't even know how much she changed my life.
I was going to say, you building institutions out here.
Yes, sir. She did it. And man, from there, challenged me. I said, Lord, what? I got to do a nonprofit. I got to do something to give back. And I asked God, what should I do? And me being black male from the hood in the 80s, all that stuff, I said, I'm going to work with returning citizens. If I work with the guys come home from prison, they can help me with these youth. They don't listen to nobody, but somebody will come home from jail.
All right, so you definitely dealing with the return population first.
Yeah, with them guys.
We kind of had this discussion already. My brothers, definitely.
Yes, sir.
My brothers that's fresh out. So
yes,
they matching you with the what we need to do energy.
Yeah, for sure. So I started working with them guys, had no knowledge of what nonprofit work is about, just passion and a challenge from this little girl that's 11 years old. So I found out it's hard to help somebody, and I'm trying to help the grown men, but I started trying to help them get jobs and all these other things. Of course, they had the felony on their records, so a lot of people wouldn't give them jobs back then.
Yeah.
So I started the skilled trades program because I knew if they learned construction and mechanical work, they can get jobs with that. So that's when I started with the skilled trades program for returning citizens. And so it worked for a minute, man. after a while, though, you know, it take a lot of resources to help grown men, you know, and I didn't have them like that.
I definitely think that it certainly does for multiple reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, also when we think about a population of like, and really when I say this, it's not even when I say the brother, I mean, I'm gonna say fresh out. That's what,
Yeah.
So like if you fresh out, it's not even that as much as I think that
The challenges.
anytime a man's in a position where I think he is not as confident in who he is, as he you know grows from that, meaning like he moves past that, or possibly sadly like stays there and possibly deals with that more. The edge that a brother can be on, it can be tough.
Yeah.
You know, let alone if it's one or two. You know, many of us have even seen it in family. Now, if it's multiple, it can even be more.
Yeah.
So when I say this, I share this to always say, you know, some things, back to like some quotes they say, you gotta let a man walk their own path.
Right,
and even
right.
some interactions that I've had with brothers, I know when people say like, why you do this or why you do that or why you do, and it's like, because at times, you sometimes gotta let a man follow their own path.
That's true.
And kind of be present in times of, you know, where they asking for help. Right. When they want the presence.
Right.
Because when we trying to figure stuff out,
right.
I ain't even necessarily saying the dangers are like something that could be violent or whatever.
Right.
But it could definitely lead into like a lot of static and a lot more, because we can start like projecting a lot of like, you want me to do this and I ain't trying to.
Brother.
This is what I want to do. This is what I'm supposed to do. And you be passionate about it because that's really what it be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I got a path for you. That's a path that I think is solid from the outside in, because it's a job. It's a place to live. You just got to learn how to do drywall. And he's like, nah, I'm an artist.
Right.
And I need to do this.
Right.
Stop trying to have me do that.
Right.
And you can make arguments that it's some truth in both.
It's some truth in both.
Either way, I think that in what I've observed and over life, the best place to be is to step back, and when he say like, yo, I need some paintbrushes or I need some canvases or I do need that drywall class. Here you go.
Right. And then that's where it was headed. But you know, I helped him with the art too. So whatever you needed, the situations came with me when you know, I wasn't moving fast enough,
but all of that,
because I didn't have the
part
capacity.
of
all of that,
everything.
Yeah, all of that.
I mean, if you ever want to hear exhaustingly how things are done wrong, ask somebody that was a brother next to somebody that seems as though that things went right.
Yes, sir.
You know,
I love my brothers. You know what I mean? I
that's
love my brothers.
I mean, shout out to them. But
shout out to my bros.
A Dame Dash will tell you everything about what Jay-Z was supposed to do.
For sure,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And that's another thing that also can present itself too.
Yeah.
As you know, I guess like more so the streets is like you know, watching your pockets, telling you what you need to do, armchair quarterbacking, whatever it may be.
It's a lot to go into it.
Hence, I think the relationships and all of this is so weird because you know I've been in places where I'm having these discussions like with like my sisters or women I dated or like even other women in my family, and they be like, "Why is it that deep?" And da-da-da. I'm like, you ain't gonna understand it. And excuse my French here, but I gotta say, it's like some man shit that sometimes don't even make sense.
Yeah.
Other than the other men.
The other men. That's only, and I understood them. Because I was there. I get it. But you know, don't act like I just moved to Detroit. I'm from Detroit, Doc.
But that's another layer of the dynamic.
You get what I'm saying?
Like,
that was the whole thing. So I said, Lord, I'm not about to go in that direction. But none of my guys went back to prison though. So that was a blessing. And so and to this day, if they call me,
and I was gonna say probably even like after, because sometimes after that moment, after they get there, they like, look, man, I was tripping.
Oh yeah.
we good now.
And then sometimes I might
it's
have been
like
tripping.
beyond love.
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
it's like
Yeah.
beyond love now
Yeah.
but
Oh yeah.
you gotta know them zones.
Yeah.
And you can definitely get there. I
Right.
think as a brother's figuring it out
Right.
as
And I was
often
just-
like
and
the
so-
key advice I give, like when women say like, what you think about this guy? And it's like, you want to be with a brother after I think he's walked the path to where he's going to be.
That's great.
Not saying that you can't be with a brother that's quote unquote figuring it out.
Right.
But while he's figuring it out, it's gonna be
Yeah.
some times where you gotta give him
You gotta give him some space. Yeah, yeah. You wise, man. But you know, I'm fresh trying to do what this girl told me to do, and I ain't know anything. But what I said was,
bro.
God, I can't do it like this. No, I don't have enough capacity to help the way I want to.
The only reason I
Yeah.
know this is all my 15 years of service in the rap industry
Yeah.
of running studio, record label,
You
and
know
having
about it.
access to concerts
Yeah.
because you would be surprised that like this show that you can't get on in Cleveland is the difference between your future and your life, and I'm hating on you. And it's like, bro, I ain't got nothing to do with this.
I'm trying to help.
But I had to learn how to manage that.
You know
type
how
of
I go.
stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Look, I
saying?
had a record. I call myself out a record label. I had all that too. You know, that's why I got a studio in the church now. I'm putting.
As the people
know
that do
hip-hop,
it,
you know.
I say more power.
Yeah.
More power
But
to you, bro.
that one's strictly for
Fun.
other stuff. But, you know, but yeah. But from there, so the Lord told me, you got to get to them before they get to prison. And then that quote from Frederick Douglass came, it was easier to train children than to repair broken men. And so that's when I started saying, I'm going to help some of the moms, the young moms who are having these children and don't have the support they need.
Yeah.
I can help the young moms. And I started a school for pregnant and parenting teens. I helped to start a school about 10 years ago called Pathways Academy. And I'm the vice president of that school to this day. It's the only school in our region for pregnant and parenting teens. And at the time, we were graduating about 40 teen moms every year. And then at the graduation, you know, they were getting accepted into colleges and stuff like that. So the teacher and me said, let me check on some of these young ladies to see if they're going to the schools that they got accepted into. Found out they were not. I said, hey, what's going on? Why you guys not going to school? They say the same support we needed in high school, we still need it now.
You got that
And,
right.
you know, and so at our high school, we had free transportation from their homes to the school and back. We had a daycare on site. We had, of course, hot meals and all the other wraparound services. And so what I did was I just created something that was similar. So I created Project Noah for young moms, and it was for the graduates of our high school. So that when they graduate, if you needed help getting into college, you need to get you ready, support you. And so we were able to get a few girls up in the Eastern, Ferris State, some of the other colleges, but they started dropping out. And so I said, what's going on again? They said, hey, we all by ourselves in a new place, just like I was at the University of Michigan the first time, but they up there with a baby. They need their mom. They need their village. And so that's when I said to myself, I got to do something where they can get some credentials quick so they can get into employment quick. And that's when I came up with going back to the return to citizen thing, skilled trades. So now I teach the young moms in skilled trades. We have a 12-a-week session where they learn about electrical, plumbing, HVAC, flooring, a whole lot of mechanical maintenance and property maintenance. And then when they're done, they get a stipend for $500 when they pass their test for OSHA 10 or OSHA 30.
Okay.
And then we help find them a job, and then I help them buy their own homes. So all of that stuff for me being a loan officer, all that is all taking place. And so to this date, we have about 340 moms that went through our program.
Beautiful.
And we got about a good 70% of them when we started, because we started in the schools first, just going in tutoring. But the last 3 years, we've been doing the skilled trades piece.
Okay.
So we've about 70% of them have their certification. So that's the very bare minimum certification to get into the construction field. And from there, we start to get them jobs. And I got 2 girls now, man, that bought their first home.
Okay. That's
So they're homeowners, young moms at 23, 24 years old. So now they're on their way to some generational wealth, you know, something that they can, just like with my mom, you know, now I teach you how to refinance it if you need to later on, start your own business, have the funds to do what you need to do, sell this one, go buy a bigger one, whatever you want to do. Just having the options. That variety we were talking about. You need some options.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and so that's what we do. We got 1,700 total
Okay.
in the program on our waiting list in Detroit.
Okay.
3,000 total over the state of Michigan.
Okay.
So we're in the process now of just trying to expand our services, because right now, with the capacity that I have with funding, I can only service 20 girls at a time.
Yeah,
20
I was gonna
moms.
say, that's a lot.
Yeah, 20 moms, and we provide free transportation, just like the school. We bring them to the church. We have I pay for a free meal for them to get to a hot meal. Then I pay for a daycare attendant to watch the kids, and they take the kids to the daycare, and then they go to the training center.
Yeah.
And then they learn the skills, and then we take them back home.
I was gonna so it definitely like towards a close here. I guess the first question is like, I don't know what you're working on. If a person wants to find out more information, help, or be present, where should they go?
They can go to our website at redeemdetroit.org. That's REDEEM Detroit.org. No ED on the redeem.
Okay.
And of course, our phone number is 844-773-3336.
Okay.
Or 844-7REDEEM.
Okay.
And you can leave a message if nobody answers, and we'll get back with you. And of course, the website is always good. Email abel@redeemdetroit.org. I will one day. I'll be able to give you my cell phone number, but
got you, my brother.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you, man. And y'all just pray for me. We're working with these young moms, and eventually we're gonna ask the girls where the dad, or the young ladies where the dad of the child is, and we're gonna do the same program for the dads.
I got you.
So we'll do the skill trades for the young dads, and now we might even be able to put families back together, and who knows, I might even be able to marry some of them. Come on down the aisle.
We shall see.
That's the hopes.
I would say definitely applause and blessings and grace with that journey and that step, and just being present in community and just sharing your journey. Thank you. I want to add two things one thing really before I get to the class of Detroit is different question is some of it how you say like different people see different things from the Bible, and Lord knows I am no theologian at all. I can just be a nerd about different information, but also I urge people to kind of like have a better understanding of the journey of the disciple, or the chapter in which you're reading, because Peter's view towards the world is so different than Paul's view. So like to contextualize everything happening in those passages and the relationship with Christ and God itself helps it, for me at least, understanding where things stand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And also in different arcs of life where you may stand in other places and spaces.
Right. That's 100%, Doc. You can't just pick up something and just read in the back or the middle and just skip around. You have to know the whole proper context of, number one, the whole Bible, number one. What is the whole context of why this whole book is written? That's number one. Then, as you go to each book in that Bible, what is the context behind this book? Who wrote it? What was the time that they wrote it? Where were they? Where's the geographical area? So you got to approach it from all aspects. You know what I mean? And even to know that our people, are present in the Bible. The main character.
All through it.
All through it. The main characters.
Yes.
And so not knowing that it will give you a different view. You know what I mean? But when you know that, certain things start making sense. You be like, oh, I see. You know what I mean? I make a lot of jokes and stuff. I say stuff like, it was a time where King Herod, he asked the lady what the girl danced so good in front of him. And he said, look, you dance so good, I give you everything up to my whole kingdom. What do you want? I say, that girl's a sister. Because nobody dance like a sister, you give the whole kingdom. So, it's just throughout the whole Bible, you have to look at everything context. Like I said, you have to look at the original Greek, Hebrew, because there are certain type of words that were translated in Old English. And not to say that it's wrong, but it's the right perspective. You know what I mean? Understanding what they meant when they said what they said, you know?
And you certainly have way more knowledge and understanding of this. As I'm nodding, it's more so just from what I've picked up from interactions with others and what I've studied, and having even more so the understanding of theology itself, which is really from everything that I've learned, it's even less about the Bible and more in understanding many different interactions with faith and people's relationships with faith, and then furthermore how to take text from faith and apply it towards everything. So because I mean,
these stories are written, these things are written for us to be a witness to us. Just to every situation you go through, you can go find it in the Bible. How did they handle it? What was their relationship with God? This is an example of how you become righteous. This look at Abraham or look at this person, and then still see that they made some mistakes. So it's a lot of things that are there for our learning and our upliftment. I mean, to be uplifted and to just see that they were people just like us. Solomon said, "Ain't nothing new under the sun." But as we study the Bible, and like I study things from a scientific perspective too. So when we look at things like the law of thermodynamics and the universe, the laws of entropy, a lot of the things that I study in science, you'll start to see that the Bible had already talked about it. And so you can see it's a divine inspired book, inspired by something more than just a man. You get what I mean? Because there are things in there that you can't explain. There are things in there that, how would they know that already? If we're just not finding this out. And
also on that flip side, it definitely, like most things connected to man, it's a tool. It can be used as a constructive tool and as a destructive tool.
Yeah.
It's all dependent upon
your perspective. Now, if you get taught wrong, I could take a pencil that's been purposed for me to write, and I can turn around and stab you with it. That wasn't the purpose. You get what I mean?
Exactly.
And so, but the more like you can't tell me this is the white man's religion. You get what I'm saying? I know too much. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you can't tell me that because I know the people in there were black.
Yeah, I mean,
and we know about Ethiopia.
I was gonna say, the Horn of Africa.
Yeah,
Coptic Christianity.
Yeah, all of that stuff. The geographical area. Right? Northern Africa. Yeah. So when you know those things, you can kind of explain it. You can have a good conversation.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes I just like hearing what other people say.
Yeah, man.
It is what it is.
Yeah. But at the ultimate thing, it's about being righteous. But you also have to know who you are in the context of everything.
True indeed.
And being able to do that will help you in your walk. And that's what this thing is about, and getting your relationship right with the Father, with the Creator.
Hey.
Yeah,
got that right. Gotta believe in something.
Yes, sir.
So, classic Detroit is different questions here. First one, very first car, year, make, and model, year you get it.
Oh man, my very first car that I already got, or the one I'm gonna get. My first car was a '77 Cutlass.
Oh man!
Yes, sir.
Started out the gate with a Cutlass.
Yeah,
man,
77
had that for
Cutlass.
like 2 seconds. Be like, oh man.
Man, look,
to the parking lot. I'm not driving it.
Blew the engine, bro.
Oh!
Didn't put no oil in it.
Oh!
My mama kept telling me, boy, you better put. I was 15, man. My mama said, you better put some oil in that car. I said, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Next thing you know, that boy
got sounds.
Started knocking.
And nope, right ain't.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Yep.
77
Cutlass, man.
Oh man.
Yep.
Was it clean?
Oh, it was clean, dog.
Oh, it was clean too?
Clean.
Oh.
It had the transmission in where it didn't pause. It just went straight up.
Oof.
Yeah, that boy was clean, man.
Oh, I gotta ask the color, man. Them Cuddies, Monte Carlos, and Regals.
Oh
nice.
Yeah. Yep.
What color?
It was a light blue, like a baby blue, sky blue. Yep. Yeah, man. I was, but somebody had passed away, and that was close to our family, and they gave it to me.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, so like I say, the wisdom at 15.
Right.
Mama don't know when I'm supposed to get an oil change.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I'm rolling. You know what I mean? I'm having a good time. You know what I mean? I'll get that later.
Gotta get sounds.
Right. Yeah, I gotta get
the
the
I
sounds.
need to get 12s and some 15s,
exactly.
mama.
I need some
you
rims.
You talking about an oil change. I need rims.
Right.
What are we talking about?
Look, man, I had enough setbacks in my life, too, man. Trust me. Whatever somebody went through, I done something dumber. Can't judge nobody. You know what I'm saying? Can't judge
Rims,
nobody.
mama? What are you talking about? Oil change.
Man, well, I tell
Got
you.
rims that Pennzoil.
Exactly. Rest in peace to my mama, man. She told me so much, and now we starting to learn. You know what I mean?
Kicking in. What where the first place you went when you got it?
You know what? To my girlfriend's house.
There we go.
Who's my wife right now.
Oh, congratulations. Ain't that something?
Yes,
so she
sir.
gonna like that part right there.
Yeah.
You was the first person.
You was the first person,
you
baby.
got to ride in it the 1 month while I had it.
That's right. Exactly. But why you ain't tell me to get the oil change? Now that I think about it.
You knew my mama was right.
Right. Yeah, man.
All right.
Yep, we've been married. We about to be married 25 years.
Congratulations.
Coming up. Yep. Thank you.
Next question. You're the DJ at the end of the fireworks, Woodward and Jefferson. You get to play 2 songs. What songs you playing?
Oh, man. Let me see here, man. Woo. Well, I got to do one church song and then one.
Hey, man.
I'm going to do Jesus Will Work It Out.
Okay.
I'm going to do that one.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do, let me see here. Where we at again? The Grand Prix?
No, this is the fireworks. It's over with.
Fireworks.
People going home.
Man, some from that 400 degrees. Probably man, what was that Juvie song, man? I can't remember the name of it.
I probably play Hot Boy from that one.
Yeah, that might have been it. That one. I can't remember. I can't remember the exact name of it.
It sounded excellent in a Cutlass. Excellent.
Yeah, so
that song was made in thought process.
Yes, sir.
Fresh was like, man, if you got that 7
man,
boy,
Fresh is cold, man. Yes, sir.
You got it. And it's
Yes,
like,
sir.
oh,
Yes, sir. I grew up.
Pastor Bell had it for a moment.
Yeah, for a moment.
Fresh was telepathically like, why you ain't get the oil change?
Right. You know what I mean? Could have rolled longer with the song. Yeah, man.
All right, and then last question. You could rename Woodward after one Detroiter. Who would it be and why?
Woo. Name out of one Detroiter. I name it after my mother. Agnes Bell Boulevard.
Agnes Bell Boulevard.
Yes,
That's
sir.
all love.
Yes, sir.
That's definitely love.
Yes, sir.
And the wisdom definitely came back in this session, and all love to you in the journey.
Amen.
And especially now you being so present with so many mothers.
Yes. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate everything.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
As I say, I know we definitely gonna be doing some more stuff with Pastor Bell.
Yes,
good
please,
synergy.
man. Yeah, you got to come on over to the facility, man. I got to give you a tour, let you see some of the stuff, man. Get some of your ideas.
I know.
Yeah.
We doing this.
Show me what I need to put on the wall, stuff like that. Yeah, no
Why
doubt.
you ain't got more black people on the
Right. What's going on over here? What's happening? Where Umar Johnson picture at around?
Umar. And Umar skits be killing me.
Man, he be having me cracking up.
I know. It's like I just look at him like it's comedy now. It's like
him and Drewski, man. Drewski is hilarious, man. That guy.
when they did the skit together.
Oh man, them boys is crazy, man. That boy Drewski is crazy.
I know, man. Hilarious.
But yeah, I'm down to earth, man. You know, because God is just good, man. I know where I came from, man. I'm just grateful to be here. I ain't gonna switch it up for nobody, man. You know.
All right.
Yeah, look after our brothers, look after our people, man.
I love it.
Yep. So yeah, this is my little book too, man.
Okay.
We got the Bible story books and the coloring book.
Okay.
With the black characters in there.
Okay.
To show the children, you know, what the people look like, and you know, giving them some representation. You know,
as shout out, one of my favorite East Siders used to say, it's like, I ain't with that Jim Crow Jesus, man, white Jesus. Edith Ford's hilarious.
There's many tribes of Israel. You know what I mean? And we
Jim Crow Jesus.
Yeah.
Jim Crow Jesus.
Can't forget about us. You know, can't forget about us.
All day.
We in there too. You know,
all day.
So yeah, so that's what's up, man.
All right. With that being said, it's a Detroit is different. Thank you, sir. Peace.
Detroit is different.